Hi, it's Mary Shomon, and I want to welcome you to my Hormonal Havoc webinar. I am so glad that you're here, and I hope that this is the start of a wonderful and incredible life change ahead for you. Here's my disclaimer. Basically, it says I'm not a doctor, and you always want to check with your doctor or your healthcare provider before you make any changes. So, does everyone got it? All right, let's move on. First, I really want to share a story with you to get started. I was engaged to be married, and like most brides to be, I wanted to look and feel my very best for the big day. But instead of feeling happy, I felt more tired and down in the dumps. And every time I went for a dress fitting, the dress was tight and needed to be let out another size. I bet you know how I felt. It was just awful. I got to the point where most of my meals looked like this. After every meal, I was pedaling my stationary bike for an hour. Nothing was helping. The weight kept piling on. I had 3 dress fittings, and yes, I ended up 3 sizes bigger on my wedding day. It was a total nightmare. I still regret that it was a day I was supposed to feel special. I didn't feel like a beautiful bride. I felt overweight and dumpy. And to be honest, I did not even want to look at my wedding photos. After the wedding, I saw my doctor, and I was finally diagnosed with a thyroid problem. I was so frustrated that I threw myself into learning how to get the best possible treatments. That started me down the path of learning about thyroid health. You may remember me from that time when I started one of the first thyroid websites at about.com and went on to write 15 books on thyroid disease and health, as well as advocating for and coaching patients. But back to the story. So once my thyroid medication was optimal, and that took some time, I was finally able to shed most of the extra weight by just cutting back, eating better, and getting some exercise. Hooray! Problem solved, right? Or so I thought. Fast forward to when I got pregnant with my daughter. I gained a whopping 45 pounds while pregnant, and that was despite careful thyroid treatment and a super healthy pregnancy diet. I left the hospital weighing only 10 pounds less than when I went in, and 8 pounds of that was baby. After my daughter was born, I went into a period of ups and downs, trying everything from Weight Watchers to a personal trainer. I would lose a few pounds and then regain it, but in the end, I was still toting around 50 extra pounds. Tweaking my medication didn't work this time, and the changes that I made to my diet didn't work either. It was really frustrating and depressing. I deliberately avoided looking at myself in the mirror after a shower. I hated seeing pictures of myself, and I always put my daughter right in front of me for every photo. My entire wardrobe was black, as if that was fooling anyone, right? There was always this little voice in my head. I called it K-Fat Radio, comparing and criticizing me 24/7. You get the picture. It was also really confusing. I feel like I defied science. Doctors say, well, cut 3,500 calories and you'll lose a pound. Ha ha, not for me. I was gaining weight even after cutting down to 1,200 calories a day. One of my thyroid coaching clients was a personal trainer. She was eating less than I was and working out 6 hours a day, 5 days a week, which I wasn't doing. She was still gaining a few pounds a week. Again, I was determined to solve this puzzle for myself and for my clients like this trainer. So I read and researched nonstop. I talked with dozens of medical experts, nutritionists, trainers, herbalists, and others. I tried different supplements, diets, and approaches, and I slowly turned it around for myself and then for my clients. I put what I knew at the time in a book, The Thyroid Diet. Thyroid Diet was a New York Times and Amazon bestseller. 250,000 people ended up reading it along with the updated Thyroid Diet Revolution. I actually personally heard from thousands of them. They would write to me, call me, contact me, telling me they were excited to finally get some answers that were helping them. So, problem solved, right? There's always a but, and here's the big but. Fast forward to my 40s, perimenopause hit, and suddenly it was like I'd gotten onto a roller coaster. Some stressful life events hit, and the weight, well, it started creeping up back again, and despite my best efforts, K-Fat Radio was back on the air. My closet filled up with black outfits, and I was back to square one. So back to the drawing board, more medical journals to read, more experts to interview, more puzzles to solve. And to be honest, it took more than 2 years of trial and error, but I finally started to see results. As I learned new approaches, I also shared what I was learning with my coaching clients, and I was so excited because they were getting results too. So what did I learn? It turns out the thyroid is not the only factor in weight. At every stage of a woman's life, from our teens until we're grandmothers, we go through various hormonal tornadoes. When hormones don't do what they're supposed to do, they can wreak havoc on our health and our weight loss efforts. I call it hormonal havoc. I also discovered that calories were not as important a factor in my weight loss or gain as I thought they would be. It was actually what I ate, when I ate, and how I ate. Talk about an eye-opener there. I also realized how much my thinking, my attitude, and my lifestyle as a super busy mother of two, working too much, running around like crazy with K-Fat radio playing nonstop, was not only making it impossible to lose weight, but actually in some cases making me gain weight. After a lot of trial and error, I put everything I learned that worked into my own program to jumpstart my weight loss. And finally, I was losing weight and, better yet, continuing to lose. It worked for me, and I'm happy to say it also worked for my coaching clients of all ages. And K-Fat Radio and its steady stream of criticism is permanently off the air. Thank you. Are you ready to make your own jumpstart? Is there any better time than today to stop dreaming and start doing? Imagine how you will feel when you can turn off that negative broadcast in your head, wear the clothes that you love, be in photos without hiding behind a giant handbag or a child, and most importantly, have more energy and feel great about yourself. Today, I'm going to share with you some of the key elements of my own Weight Loss Jumpstart program, and share some of the best tips that can help you start getting your hormonal havoc under control. Stay with me through the webinar because during the webinar, I'm going to be sharing 5 easy tips that were essential to my own weight loss jumpstart. And most of them are things that you can actually start right away after listening to this webinar. I'll point them out. They have little stars on them, so keep your eyes open for those 5 important tips. So let's jump in. Like me, you have probably talked to many doctors and other experts about your weight. But let's be honest, you were probably told, as I was, eat less and exercise more, right? So you do, or maybe you want an approach or a program. So you did Weight Watchers, and like me and many of my clients, you follow it perfectly to the letter, and you gained weight. I did. I kept gaining weight on Weight Watchers, and they kept telling me I was cheating on it. Or perhaps you tried Nutrisystem or Jenny Craig. Maybe you lost a few pounds, but as soon as you stop laying out hundreds of dollars a month for shakes and meals and bars, you regain every pound and then some. Or maybe you did a boot camp or CrossFit with a drill sergeant trainer screaming and yelling at you and pushing you to exhaustion. And again, when it's over, the weight piles back on, sometimes even more than you started with, and you're back to square one. And let's get real, it doesn't make sense. We all have that friend, and you know who she is, who can eat anything and never gain weight. And when she needs to drop a few pounds, all she does is cut out sodas or her nightly ice cream, and voila, weight is flying off of her, and she is having great success with seemingly very little effort. And then there's the men in our lives who can cut out a few bags of chips and lose 5 pounds a week and get their six-pack abs. And again, not us. Meanwhile, we do everything right and we don't lose a pound. And again, it seems like we're defying science. That's because, like me, you're not dealing with the root causes of the weight gain. So you lose weight, you regain it, or you can't lose it at all, and it happens over and over again. And I bet you've had enough of it. I know I did. You're ready for answers. I know I was. And you know you need to be in control of the situation, not let it control you. That's where my gift to you comes in. The first step in tackling hormonal havoc is knowing what you're dealing with. So at the end of this webinar, I'm going to let you know how to download a copy of my Hormonal Havoc Guide. You're going to love the Hormonal Havoc Guide. It includes a detailed checklist of hundreds of signs and symptoms and risk factors for hormonal imbalances. Some of them are actually going to surprise you. For example, did you know that cravings for salty foods, thin outer eyebrows, feeling overwhelmed, and waking up in the middle of the night are all signs of hormonal havoc? The guide also includes tests, lab tests, and home tests that pinpoint these imbalances. With clickable links for you to order the recommended tests yourself, you don't even have to make an appointment, go see a doctor, get the tests, and then go back to the doctor to get the results. You can order them, get your results directly, and have the information right in hand. It's the first important step in jumpstarting your weight loss. So stay with me until the end of the webinar, and you'll be able to find out how to claim your gift copy of the guide. Remember, it's free. It's the first step in making your jump start and helping you get organized and ready to take that jump. So let's get ready to jump in. I'm ready. Let's jump. Before I start talking about the specific hormones, I want to start with a key concept. And this is perhaps the most crucial thing I want you to understand and take away from today's webinar. Every hormone test has what's called a reference range. It's sometimes called the normal range. What it is the broad range of what is considered normal as a result by your doctor. When you get your hormones tested, your doctor may tell you that the result was normal. But what does that really mean? It means that your test results fell within that reference range. But I want you to think of this. For body temperature, any temperature from 97 degrees to 100 degrees is considered normal. That's the reference range for body temperature. So, using that reference range, if your temperature is 99.9 degrees, that is considered normal. But it may not be normal for you. A 99.9 degree temperature could be a low-grade fever. You may feel tired, achy, and you could even be coming down with something like the flu. So yeah, you're in the reference range, but is that normal? Is it optimal? Do you feel well? And so here is the key point. It's the same for hormones. There are levels that are in the reference range, and doctors will say that they are normal and that you are normal, but that doesn't mean that these levels are normal for you. That normal level may not support healthy weight loss and general good health and a healthy metabolism. Normal is not optimal. Keep that in mind as we launch into this discussion of hormones. We don't need just normal, we need optimal. There are 5 main types of hormonal havoc that get in the way of weight loss. Most of us first think of the thyroid, but I'm actually going to start with insulin because it's at the root of many of our weight challenges. Everything we eat turns into sugar, glucose. Protein and fat turn into glucose very slowly. Carbohydrates turn into glucose much more quickly, but there's a difference in terms of the type of carbohydrate. Complex carbs, these are carbs that have fiber like whole grain bread or a sweet potato, could do that conversion more slowly than simple carbs like noodles or cookies or white bread or straight sugar. A gland known as the pancreas makes insulin, and insulin's job is to help the sugar in your bloodstream, that glucose, get used and also stored later for energy. You can end up with high blood sugar for a number of different reasons. Number one, you're simply eating too much food in general, or you may be eating too many carbs, especially those simple carbs, or you have a insensitivity or resistance to insulin, or in the case of diabetics, you're not producing enough insulin in the first place. If it's hard for you to lose weight or you have increased belly fat, you have two possible symptoms of high blood sugar. There are some others here that are listed, but keep in mind you do not have to have all of those symptoms in order to have high blood sugar levels. Here's a kicker. When you have high blood sugar, guess what happens to it? It gets stored in your belly fat cells. And it has an extra benefit. It makes you hungrier. So it's a double whammy for people who are trying to lose weight. An important first step in managing blood sugar is to periodically get it checked and tested. Now, this chart shows you the optimal normal levels, pre-diabetic levels, and diabetic levels for common blood sugar tests. That would be fasting plasma glucose, also known as fasting blood sugar, hemoglobin A1C, which is a several month average of your blood sugar, and the glucose finger stick, which is typically done with a home glucose meter. We want to be in the optimal normal level for these tests. If you're not in the optimal normal level for any of those blood glucose tests, your first step is going to be contacting your healthcare provider. But as far as your own life changes, one of the most obvious things that you can do is to reduce or even eliminate sugar and simple carbohydrates like that bread and pasta, desserts, and sugary drinks from your diet. The other thing that we want to see is more movement, because movement can actually lower blood sugar, exercise or activity, and we want to be focusing on getting at least 7 hours of sleep a night. Here's a quick story. As part of my weight loss effort, I started testing my blood sugar using a home meter. It was a really major step for me because I learned so much. For example, I often had a late night banana as a bedtime snack. I tried checking my blood sugar before the banana and then 2 hours later and again in the morning. My blood sugar was soaring after I ate that banana, and it was still high the next morning, which means I spent all night with high glucose levels. Not good. Crazily, I actually tested with a chocolate bar and I had similar results. So a banana may be healthy and certainly healthier than a chocolate bar, but neither one of them was healthy for me. So that leads me to tip number 1. You remember I told you I was going to be sharing those tips. So my first tip is get yourself a home glucose meter and start using it to track your blood sugar before and after eating different foods and meals. It's simply one of the best tools for hacking your diet. It can help you figure out which foods are sabotaging you specifically as far as your weight loss effort. It also helps you plan when to eat and when to move. So it is an incredibly useful tool. There is so much to cover as far as your insulin and blood sugar levels and the impact that they have on your ability to lose weight. Here is a list of just a few of the key questions that we really want to be able to answer in order to make our insulin and blood sugar levels work for us as far as our weight loss. So let's move on to the adrenal glands. Your adrenal glands are small peanut-shaped glands that sit on top of your kidneys. These glands have a really important job. They make the hormones that help you deal with stress. There's adrenaline. That's the fight or flight hormone that's released in bursts when it's needed in an emergency. And then there's cortisol, the daily hormone that helps us function in our daily life. Throughout the day, cortisol follows a typical curve pattern. It is usually highest in the morning and lowest at night, as you can see from this graph. Not everyone follows that curve the way it's supposed to be, and in that case, we may have a flat curve, a too high curve, or spikes throughout the day. This is an adrenal imbalance, and it's typically caused by stress, both life stress or physical stress. When we have an adrenal imbalance, we can gain weight very easily, especially that belly fat area. We're going to feel more exhausted than usual in many cases. A lot of people will report salt cravings, sugar cravings, and carbohydrate cravings, and mood changes, feeling very overwhelmed by everything. And perhaps one of the most characteristic symptoms of an adrenal problem is feeling tired, but at the same time wired. The first step in optimizing your adrenals is to actually map that curve and get them tested. I recommend a test called the Dutch test. It is explained in detail in your Hormonal Havoc guide. So I recommend that you make sure you download it after the webinar and take a look at that. There are also some lifestyle changes that you can make to help support your adrenals in general. Cutting back on caffeine and stimulants is a good idea. Cutting back on sugar, getting those 7 hours at least minimum of sleep per night, and incorporating a daily stress reduction practice into your life. 10 minutes a day, you don't need to go on for hours, but it actually changes your genes. There is so much more that you need to know about your adrenal glands and how imbalances in the adrenals can affect your ability to lose weight. Here's a list of just a few of those key questions that we want to answer about your adrenals and their impact on your weight loss. Let's talk about those sex hormones, and they include estrogen, progesterone, testosterone, pregnenolone, and a sex hormone precursor, DHEA. Sex hormones can become imbalanced and fluctuate, and the most common reasons behind that include stress, both physical or life, mental, emotional stress. Also, nutritional imbalances and deficiencies can affect those sex hormones. During and after pregnancy is a main time when we see a lot of fluctuations in those sex hormones. Also after 40, which is the period typically when perimenopause begins. And this was news to me when I went into perimenopause, but I didn't realize it actually can last in some women up to 10 years. And many of the symptoms that we associate with menopause are actually happening during perimenopause. Menopause, of course, is another point when we see a lot of fluctuations, and that is defined as the point when it's been a year since your last menstrual period. Weight gain and a slow metabolism, as well as a shift of fat to the belly, are very common symptoms and signs of a sex hormone imbalance. There are also a number of other symptoms, as you can see, including the very familiar hot flash and night sweats associated with menopause, but also hair loss, insomnia, fatigue, low sex drive, brain fog. These are all symptoms of sex hormone imbalances at any age. How do we deal with our sex hormones and their imbalances? Well, first we need to take a look at what those levels are and identify what types of imbalances we have. So we want to test the sex hormone levels and their metabolites. Again, this is one where I recommend the Dutch test, and your Hormonal Havoc guide has information about that test and why I think it's fantastic for identifying adrenal and sex hormone imbalances. Our goal is optimal and balanced levels. We do not need the hormones of a 20-year-old when we're 55, but we do need hormones that are in balance in order to feel well and be healthy and be able to lose weight. 2 lifestyle tips as far as optimizing your sex hormones. One is to be very careful about going overboard with soy. A lot of menopause and perimenopause remedies are loaded with soy, and we're constantly being told to load up on soy foods, protein powders, pills, soy milk, etc. when we're going through hormonal changes, and in fact it can actually work against us and slow down the thyroid and make it harder to lose weight or even make you gain weight. So be very careful about that soy. The other thing that I'd love to recommend to you is royal maca. It's a special form of maca, which is a root vegetable from Peru that has all sorts of adaptogenic hormonal wonder properties. So it helps with menopause, perimenopause symptoms, fertility, sex drive, PMS, a whole long list of things. And the only brand, though, that I like is the Royal Maca from Whole World Botanicals because it is very clean, it's properly heated, and it works. It got me through my menopause, along with something else I'm going to tell you about in a minute. When it comes to our sex hormone imbalances, there are a number of questions we really need to answer in order to figure out the impact that it's having on our ability to lose weight and to feel healthy. So here's just a look at a few of those key questions that we really want to be able to answer when it comes to our health and ability to lose weight. I wanted to just tell you a really quick story. I was in my 40s in perimenopause and I was having completely wacky periods every 10 days, then 40 days. Some were lasting 1 day, some lasted 10 days, some lasted 2 weeks, some were heavy, some were light. I was also having some sleep problems at that time, so I decided to start taking some melatonin. It really helped my sleep, but I also noticed something really strange. Within 2 months, my cycles had returned to normal. They started on day 28, they lasted 5 days, it was a normal flow, and they stayed that way. So they went right back to what they had been long before I started my perimenopause. So I started to do some research on whether there was a connection between melatonin and menstrual cycles, and wouldn't you know, I found one. I connected with Dr. Walter Pierpaoli, world's expert on melatonin and author of the best-selling book The Melatonin Miracle, which is what turned Americans on to melatonin back in the 80s. He told me about numerous studies that he has done that found that melatonin is more than just a hormone. It's actually the conductor of the hormones. It's the master hormone conductor. He had actually done a study with a group of 100 women over 40 with melatonin. He gave them the melatonin at low doses. The ones who had erratic periods went back to normal, like I did. Sex hormones became more balanced. Some of the women in the younger group even got pregnant. And a few of the women who were postmenopause started actually having normal periods again. They were not pleased. The bottom line, melatonin was telling the body when to go into perimenopause and menopause and extending that deadline. Taking a low dose of melatonin was extending fertility, slowing down the progress of menopause, and helping keep hormones balanced during perimenopause into menopause. Not only did it help the sex hormones, it was also helping the adrenals, helping cortisol production, helping growth hormone, and helping the thyroid and lowering blood sugar. And of course, it helped sleep. So that leads me to tip number 2. Tip number 2 is melatonin. As I said, it helps all of these different hormones, and it also operates as a hormonal clock extender and master hormonal conductor. Dr. Pierpaoli recommends 3 milligrams or up to 5 milligrams, but no more, taken 1 hour before bedtime or 10 p.m., but not later. That allows the melatonin to hit your bloodstream at the optimal time for hormonal balance. I also wanted to touch briefly on the category of hunger and satiety hormones. These include the better known leptin and ghrelin, but also NPY, GLP-1, CCK, and PYY. So this alphabet soup of different hormones are the hormones that make us feel satisfied or hungry. And when they become imbalanced, we can have a lot of additional challenges with weight loss. Before we get to the big gun of the hormones for weight issues, the thyroid, I want to just talk a bit about food. Not only what you eat, but how and when you eat. When it comes to what, how, and when we eat, there is a lot of potential for hormonal havoc. Everything from nutritional deficiencies, inflammation, to problems with our gut, absorption, digestion issues, and a tendency to store rather than burn fat. These can all get in the way of our ability to lose weight and feel well. There are so many symptoms that it's too much for us to go into right now. Your Hormonal Havoc Guide has a detailed checklist of related signs and symptoms of these kinds of issues. But the bottom line, to lose weight, we need to eat foods and eat them in a way that lowers inflammation, helps heal our gut, and make the most of our fat burning potential. Here's a quick tip I learned from a European weight loss doctor. You remember that simple carbs raise blood sugar too high and fast, right? And one way to blunt that impact is to add fiber. Higher fiber foods convert more slowly. If you remember, those complex carbs are typically higher fiber, so they don't convert into glucose or sugar quite as quickly, which allows our insulin a chance to keep up with the increasing blood sugar. And that brings us to tip number 3, which is you can make any food high fiber and therefore more complex and slower to convert into sugar by taking several capsules of psyllium fiber at the time you eat the food. I carry psyllium capsules around in my handbag. I keep it at home for those times that I have to eat something that's high in carbs and low in fiber. I mean, who knew you can take a few psyllium capsules with a bowl of ice cream and have high fiber ice cream? I don't recommend making a habit of it, but when you need something that is a simple carb and you're splurging, throw in a few psyllium capsules and it helps. I am going to jump right over to tip number 4 as it relates to food. And this is another tip that comes from some weight loss doctors that I know. They are recommending that we eat a probiotic rich food and take a probiotic supplement every day. Probiotics are foods and supplements that include those good bacteria that help to heal gut imbalance and fight inflammation and actually can help rev up and support our metabolism. So we want to look at those fermented foods like sauerkraut, yogurt, kefir, kimchi, kombucha, pickles. These are all foods that are rich in probiotics, and consider a probiotic supplement as well and make it a daily habit. Before we get to our last hormone, the thyroid, I want to talk about how our hormones can affect our ability to digest, store, and burn fat, not to mention our appetite, satisfaction, and metabolism. How you think and feel about food and what you say to yourself about weight all affect those hormones, and that in turn affects everything about your weight loss success. It's called neuroendocrinology. But to put it more simply, it's the mind body relationship. And it's not woo woo or alternative, it's actual science. This mind body issue comes down to a really important difference. Most of us are eating in fight or flight stress mode, which sabotages our weight loss efforts in many ways. When we eat in rest and digest calm mode, we activate digestion, we can feel full, we store fat normally and properly, and we are able to successfully lose weight. So the big question here is, do you eat in fight or flight mode or rest and digest mode? I'm going to guess a fair number of you are going to say you're eating in fight or flight mode. I know that before I lost the weight, that's how I was eating too. So, how do we shift from fight or flight to rest and digest mode? Well, how do we optimize that mind body hormonal connection for maximum results and success? First, we are going to eat slowly and chew thoroughly. This is so important. I mean, you can eat so quickly, especially foods that are packaged or fast foods and things. You can gulp down a hamburger and fries in less than 3 or 4 minutes. And this is not giving your body time to activate the satisfaction hormones, the digestive hormones, and to do what it needs to do to properly store and burn. So we want to eat slowly and chew thoroughly, and we don't want to multitask. Focus on the food, focus on the eating, the taste, the sensation. We also want to make sure we're getting 10 minutes a day of some sort of physiologic stress reducing activity that generates the relaxation response. So this means something like breath work or meditation or relaxing yoga, not Madonna kind of yoga with our ankles around our neck, but gentle, relaxing breath work type of yoga. Or we want to do needlework or something that's going to make us feel more relaxed. We also want to make sure we're getting 7 hours minimum of sleep. There are many, many questions that you need to answer about how to put your mind, body, and attitude to work for weight loss. All of these issues are discussed in depth in my Weight Loss Jumpstart program. Before I go on to our final hormone, the thyroid, the big daddy, so to speak, I wanted to just take a quick moment to share with you. As you can tell, there are so many things to say about each and every one of these hormones and challenges, as well as food and mind and body, and all of the different ways that we can tackle the weight loss issue from a comprehensive perspective. That's why I've put it all together into an in-depth 4-week comprehensive workshop program that I'm calling the Weight Loss Jumpstart program. Weight Loss Jumpstart is a 4-week program featuring 4 90-minute live weekly workshop webinars, followed by 4 Q&A sessions with me, as well as a private Facebook support community where we can interact, share our information, ask questions, and get support. The Weight Loss Jumpstart program also includes 4 detailed guides that provide all of the information from the workshops, as well as additional information, links, and resources to take you through every aspect of how to make your own successful weight loss jumpstart. You're going to get a hormone guide, a food and eating guide, a mind-body guide, and a jumpstart tracker guide. I'll be telling you more about the Weight Loss Jumpstart program a little later, but if you'd like to find out more right now or sign up, you can go to mary-shomon.com/jumpstart. Now let's talk about your thyroid. The thyroid is the gland and the hormone that many of us think of when we think about weight and weight loss challenges. And that's because thyroid hormone's job is to help oxygen and energy get to our cells, tissues, organs, and glands. If we don't have enough thyroid hormone, and that's a condition known as hypothyroidism, we are like a car out of gas and nothing can work well. Your heart, your brain, and important to this webinar, digestion and metabolism can't work without enough thyroid hormone. There are a number of causes of hypothyroidism, but the most common one in the US and Europe is Hashimoto's, an autoimmune disease. If your thyroid is underactive, and that is common, more than 35 million people in the US are hypothyroid, and the majority of them are undiagnosed. You could cut calories and exercise all the time and still not lose weight. Besides weight gain or difficulty losing weight, there are a number of other common symptoms of hypothyroidism, but perhaps the most common are fatigue and exhaustion and depression. There are really 2 key obstacles for most people with thyroid issues. One is getting accurately diagnosed, and the other is getting not just treated, but optimal treatment. Here's a look at the 3 key thyroid tests. Unfortunately, many doctors only do one of these tests, the TSH test, but free T4 and free T3 are essential because they tell us what is actually going on with the thyroid in terms of the hormone in your bloodstream. Take a look at these normal reference ranges and the optimal ranges. They are different. For weight loss, most of us need to be in the optimal area, not the normal reference range. To optimize your thyroid, you first need to be on the right medication for you. And for the majority of people with hypothyroidism, that means a combination T4, T3 treatment, not just a T4 only levothyroxine drug like Synthroid, Levoxyl, or Tirosint. It is hard to have optimal free T3 levels when you're just taking levothyroxine alone. If you have digestion issues or allergies and you're taking levothyroxine, you should look at Tirosint. That is a hypoallergenic liquid capsule form of levothyroxine that is better absorbed by people with digestive problems or allergies. Whatever thyroid medication you're taking, we need to make sure that you're taking it correctly. That's 3 to 4 hours apart from iron or calcium or iron and calcium fortified foods, and 1 hour apart from coffee, milk, and food. I wanted to share just a brief story. When I was first diagnosed with hypothyroidism, like many people, I was put on a generic levothyroxine drug. I thought the weight was going to fall off in a few weeks, I'd be back to normal, right? Did not happen. It turns out I could not lose an ounce, even after I got my thyroid levels closer to optimal, just taking the levothyroxine. A few years later, I switched to natural desiccated thyroid, and it was a key part of my weight loss jumpstart. It didn't make the weight fall off, but it did level the playing field so that diet and exercise was able to work. It's not just me. There are studies that show significantly more weight loss in people with hypothyroidism who are taking a natural thyroid drug compared to levothyroxine alone, like Synthroid or Levoxyl. So that brings us to tip number 5. Consider natural desiccated thyroid as a treatment option. In the United States, there are 4 different natural desiccated thyroid drugs. There's Nature-Throid, there's Thyroid WP, there is Armour Thyroid, and there is a generic natural thyroid known as NP Thyroid. As you can see from this long list, there are a lot of questions related to your thyroid health that can impact your ability to lose weight. I cover them in great detail in the Weight Loss Jumpstart program starting later this month. I have only been able to briefly touch on a few of the many details that are involved in hormonal havoc and your ways to tame it and to level the playing field and be able to use your hormones to your advantage for weight loss. You can see there's a lot to cover, but I hope that you've heard some helpful tips to get you started on your journey to a healthier weight. And I know that the Hormonal Havoc Guide is also going to help you understand which tests that you can take to start identifying which areas are problem areas for you from a hormonal imbalance standpoint. There's a detailed symptoms checklist for you to also look at, and that combined with testing can help you get a very good sense of which hormone areas are getting in the way of your weight loss. But there is so much more that you can learn on your journey to a healthier weight. And based on my own experience and years of research and learning what has worked for me and my clients, I really want to share that with you and help you achieve the same results that I had. And that is why I am so excited to have put together this 4-week Weight Loss Jumpstart program for you. The Weight Loss Jumpstart is a program that I've created that goes through all of these issues related to your hormones, how to get them on track, how to balance them using all of these different factors that we were talking about, what to eat, when to eat, how to eat, and how to put it all together into a program that works for you. It includes 4 weekly workshops, 2 hours, and that will include a video module, a video presentation on the topic of the week, followed by a live Q&A session with me in our private Facebook group where we can talk about the issues discussed in the webinar. We can bring up questions. I can brainstorm with you. We can problem solve. It's going to be an interactive opportunity for all of us to really connect and talk about these issues. And of course, you'll have unlimited replays. So if you can't make it live, you'll be able to watch it and see all the information and discussion that was going on. Our private Facebook group, I'll be the moderator in that group. So I'll be in there answering questions, sharing with you, connecting with you. You can connect with other people. I hope people will be able to make friends. We already have some really exciting folks that are really passionate that are ready to sign up and be in the program, and I know there'll be more, and we're going to have a really amazing group of empowered, smart women who are going to help and support each other through this process. So you'll be able to ask questions, share tips, watch workshop replays whenever you want, and get support through your Weight Loss Jumpstart and beyond. I'm not going to close this group or limit the time on it, so we can keep going as long as we want. There's no need for you to take any notes during the Jumpstart because you will be getting everything in your detailed guides for every aspect of your Jumpstart, including hormones, food and eating, mind, body, and a special tracking guide, all delivered to you as PDF downloadable ebooks. During week 1 of the Weight Loss Jumpstart, we're going to jump right into the quick Jumpstart. That's an eating plan you can start immediately to begin calming down your hormonal havoc. I'll also teach you an easy metabolic power move that you can do every time you eat that shifts you into rest and digest fat burning mode faster. I'll also share my special energy cocktail that can help you improve your energy by as much as 75% in just a few days. Week 1 is also when we start our step-by-step deep dive into the hormones that cause havoc and make it harder to lose weight, starting with insulin. In week 2, we move on to thyroid, adrenals, sex hormones, and those hunger hormones and satisfaction hormones like leptin, ghrelin, NPY, and others. As we go through each hormonal havoc area, we will get into the nitty-gritty. You will understand the causes, risk factors, signs, symptoms, specific tests to ask for, the normal levels for those tests, and the optimal levels for those tests for health and weight loss. And of course, there's the most important part. For each hormone, we're going to go over how to optimize it and put it back into balance with food, holistic and traditional treatments, supplements, movement, and mind-body approaches. We are going to come at those hormones from all directions to get them back into balance. During week 2, we're also going to talk about a really important issue, your healthcare partners, what types of providers to look for, how to find them, and how you can work with them to get the support and treatment you need for better health and successful weight loss. You're also going to get a detailed Jumpstart hormonal guide that includes a wealth of information. Not only does it review all of the webinar content, but it has links and extra information to help you get to the next level. During week 3, we talk about food and eating, what you eat, when you eat, and how you eat, as well as what not to eat to optimize your health and weight loss. We're going to tackle digestive issues, absorption, inflammation, and much more, all focused on helping you make a successful weight loss jumpstart. What to eat can be so confusing, so you're also going to learn which foods fight inflammation, promote gut health, balance blood sugar, and activate fat burning. We're also going to cover those imposter foods, the popular healthy foods that end up causing weight gain in some people. Remember that banana I was telling you about? You'll get detailed food lists that make it easy to jump into your own weight loss process. Week 3 also covers testing for and addressing key nutritional deficiencies that affect your weight loss, as well as balances of nutrients in your diet that can help or derail your hormones. You'll also learn how to hack and customize your food list for optimal success based on allergies and sensitivities, your blood sugar testing, and symptom and results tracking. We're also going to talk about the optimal timing of your meals and snacks, including an important look at intermittent fasting options. We'll also touch on eating out and the challenges involved and how to stay on your jumpstart while you're traveling or away from home. You're also going to get your Weight Loss Jumpstart food and eating guide, which includes detailed food lists along with very specific and comprehensive guidelines on how and when to eat for maximum success and weight loss. In week 4, we move on to mind and body, and we're going to look at how to use our thoughts, feelings, and what we say to ourselves to put our hormones to work, digesting, burning fat, increasing satisfaction, and reducing hunger. We will also dive into how we can use rest and digest mode to affect hormones, including the 3 M's. These are easy ways to shift from fight or flight into rest and digest throughout the day. We will also focus on movement and exercise and do's and don'ts. You're going to learn a power move that can lower your blood sugar in minutes. Finally, if your heart and soul are starving for positive reinforcement, you're going to learn how to feed them in ways that help your hormones and your neurotransmitters for maximum weight loss and happiness. You're also going to get a Jumpstart Mind Body Guide. Again, exercises, tools, information on how to do affirmations. There's coloring pages. All of it is designed to help you put your mind and body back to work. We're also going to look at how to make your jumpstart the beginning of a permanent shift to a healthier weight by putting it all together with tracking and monitoring, customizing and personalizing your diet, tweaking and adjusting what you're eating and how you're eating, and taking it all to the next level. To help you put it all together, the Jumpstart Tracking Journal Daily Tracker is going to help you track and monitor the impact of the foods and lifestyle choices on your symptoms and weight loss so that you can further customize and personalize your own weight loss jumpstart. Here's the deal. After your weight loss jumpstart, you are going to come away with a very clear path and plan so that you can navigate the totally complicated maze of hormonal tests and treatments and diet and food and supplements. You are going to know what to do and how to do it. You will probably come away from your jumpstart knowing a lot more about how hormones affect weight loss than even your doctor. So I know you're wondering, how much is this going to cost? Just so you know, my coaching clients are currently paying $200 an hour to get this kind of in-depth information. And if you and I were going to do the Weight Loss Jumpstart one-on-one, it would cost you more than $1,500. But I really want to make this information available to you in a program that is affordable and costs just a fraction of that. Why? Because my mission is to help those of you who are committed to losing weight and feeling well and want to feel better about yourselves. I know how it felt to hide from mirrors and feel disgusted with myself. And I know how it is when that voice in your head will not shut up. So let's make it stop now. The Weight Loss Jumpstart program, valued at more than $1,500, is $197. Our program is going to start on October 29th, but registration is closing on Friday, October 25th. So you still have a bit more time, but go ahead and sign up with me so that we can do that jumpstart together. But I have some really great news for those of you who really are committed and want to make your jump right now. If you sign up by 9 p.m. Pacific on Monday, October 21st, that's midnight Eastern, 9 Pacific, you're going to be able to save $50 on your Jumpstart program and pay only $147 for a program worth more than $1,500. So sign up by Monday, 9 p.m. Pacific, to get this special introductory price. The price is going up to $197 after that time. So if you're interested in joining the Jumpstart program at the basic level, go to mary-shomon.com/jumpstart and you'll get more information about the program and you'll have a link there for you to be able to sign up. Okay, I know that some of you are already saying, I need more help. I need a lot more help than even what you're offering here. You are probably super busy. You have more complex or complicated hormonal issues, and you know that you are going to want and need more personal support in order to make your weight loss jumpstart a real success for you. You have been there, you have done that, but this time you're determined it's going to be different. It's going to be a success. If you can relate and that sounds like you, then Jumpstart Plus is perfect for you. Jumpstart Plus is a premium program featuring a high level of personalized support from me throughout your 4-week Weight Loss Jumpstart program. Every week during the Jumpstart, a small group of us will get on the phone for a 90-minute group coaching call. During that call, we're going to be able to ask questions, share concerns, and get personal support on those calls. Your group is going to include no more than 8 participants. During our coaching calls, we're going to have 2 hot seat coaching sessions for Jumpstart Plus members during each call. These are going to be 30-minute dedicated coaching sessions to specifically talk about that particular group member's problems. So if you are in the Jumpstart Plus group, you're going to have 30 minutes of dedicated hot seat coaching from me to discuss your issues, challenges, questions, and problems specifically. And when you're not in the hot seat, you're going to get a chance to learn from others' hot seat questions and issues. Everyone in Jumpstart Plus is also going to get a really special bonus, a one-on-one private 1-hour coaching call with me. This is the same coaching call that I am charging $200 for with my regular clients. We can get on the phone and brainstorm your test results, customize your hormonal optimization plan, personalize and customize those food lists, and brainstorm private concerns you may not want to talk about on the group call, and generally figure out every way we can fast forward you to weight loss success. So if we take the full Weight Loss Jumpstart program and we add in the 4 90-minute group coaching calls, including 30 minutes of hot seat coaching for you during those calls, and add in a 1-hour private one-on-one coaching session with me. If you were working with me directly for this level of support, the program would cost you $2,300. So the Weight Loss Jumpstart Plus premium program, valued at more than $2,300, is $547. This is an incredible value because it's including that 1-hour private coaching session, 30 minutes of hot seat coaching, 4 of these private phone calls where we're all going to get on the phone and brainstorm and talk hormone havoc and weight loss solutions, plus the full Jumpstart program. You're going to get those 4 video workshops, the Q&A sessions, and those 4 Weight Loss Jumpstart guides. I have a great opportunity for those of you who are ready to commit to Weight Loss Jumpstart Plus right away. You can save $100 on the program if you register by 9 p.m. on Monday, October 21st. That's 9 p.m. Pacific, midnight Eastern. By Monday, the 21st of October, you're going to be able to save $100, and you will get the Weight Loss Jumpstart Plus program valued at over $2,300 for $447. The price goes up to $547 after that time. So if you're interested, why not sign up now and save $100? Space in Weight Loss Jumpstart Plus is very limited, and registration closes on October 25th. So if you want to be part of the Jumpstart Plus special group coaching higher support level group, it's time to sign up right away at mary-shomon.com/jumpstart. So, what are you waiting for? If you are ready to make your own weight loss jumpstart, go to www.mary-shomon.com/jumpstart now and sign up to join me for our fall session. Before I finish the webinar, I want to talk about that gift that I promised you. If you are going to make your jumpstart with me, your first step is to go out and download that Hormonal Havoc guide. When you get your guide, work with those symptoms and risk factors checklists and start getting a handle on your hormonal challenge areas. The guide is also going to help you identify those hormonal problem areas and which tests can help you pinpoint them further, along with information on how you can order those tests yourself if you're interested. To download your free gift copy of my Hormonal Havoc guide, go to www.mary-shomon.com/havoc guide, all one word, lowercase, havoc guide, and you'll be able to download your free copy of the Hormonal Havoc guide. So finally, there's this saying, and it's kind of cheesy, but I do still like it. It goes like this: when you take the I out of illness and replace it with we, you get wellness. I know it's cheesy, right? But I love that. And I am so excited about helping you on your journey. So together, we are going to really work towards wellness and weight loss. So you're not in this alone. We are in this together for wellness and weight loss. And I know that frustration. I know that feeling like nothing I ever could do was going to be successful as far as losing weight. So nothing is going to make me happier than for you to finally have that feeling of happiness about yourself and your body. My goal is to provide you with the knowledge and the tools and the tactics to help you make that happen. Thanks again for watching my Hormonal Havoc webinar, and I hope to see you in an upcoming Weight Loss Jumpstart group. Take care. Thanks.